In Northern Ireland, 3,801 children and young people were in care in 2023, which is the highest number on record from introduction of the Children's Order in 1995. With increasing demands for foster carers, concerns of children moving foster placements multiple times, and a need for stability in a home at a time more children are in care than ever. I investigated why there is a gap in instability and how we can improve on it. So why do some children get moved homes like multiple times when they're put into care?
So probably the main reason is because we really struggle to find long-term foster carers. There are a lot of foster carers that just want to do short-term fostering or emergency fostering, but a lot fewer foster carers want to do long-term fostering. So finding a good match for a long-term foster placement is really difficult because our pool of long-term foster carers is so small, and the need for long-term foster carers is so great. So we often have a lot more children looking for long-term placements than we do the long-term foster carers. So often children then bounce about. I would say bounce about a lot of short-term foster placements because we can't find the long-term carers for them.
I believe every child in care should be given the opportunity to reach their full potential, but this isn't the case for everyone. Many care-experienced young people get failed by the system and becoming just another statistic by not getting placed in the right home straight away or at all. Despite the lack of foster carers, it needs recognised that unneeded extra damage moving placements can have on a child or teenager's development and mental health. I'm trying to understand how those impacted by the system feel about how they've been treated. So I spoke to a young man, Curtis, who was moved 11 times before finding his forever home. So how can you compare being in a stable home against being moved around?
Don't know where you're gonna go next.
Yeah.
So you might not trust the people you're living with. Which could be distrusting and I don't know. In a stable environment, you're gonna trust people and open up more and just chill out more.
And what do you think of the services that were provided to you?
Not the best. I think mainly they're against you, to be honest. Don't really try to support you. Do more bad than good.
And what, if anything, do you feel needs changed?
How long it takes to do things for social services. It takes ages, like a long time.
And did you get changed social workers a lot or not?
I had about 7 in like 2 years. So mad. And I never saw them, so.
I myself was in the care system for 8 years.
Yeah, do you remember?
So I can completely relate to Curtis when he says about the emotional toll and vulnerability it can have getting moved homes. I know in my situation, I immediately became a selected mute and went on to get moved homes another 4 times. However, luckily for me, I did eventually get that loving home with my long-term foster carers, Avril and Diggy Whitley, who with a lot of specialist therapy, support, love and kindness, I eventually went on to get to where I am today, now graduating from university. However, I do believe I could have been put in a long-term home sooner, without the trauma of being moved door to door. Perhaps it is the lack of foster carers or number of people wanting to take on teenagers, but I do know I was in placements that didn't support my needs and at times didn't even believe I had any potential. I decided to visit my long-term foster carers who told me why finding the right placement is important and how we can move forward in improving the services. How important is it children in care get placed in the right home?
As the system stands, we do have a shortage of foster carers. I feel that when children are moved about, it causes more trauma and it's just another rejection for the child.
How do we move forward in ensuring children aren't getting bounced around homes?
Have more foster carers who have experience of young people and can try and relate how they would feel if they were in the child's position.
With far too many overlooking the positives the right home can have, I let Avril tell how their kindness and patience helped me become who I am. How do you think finding the right placement helped me?
I feel Anna had been bounced about with different carers, 4 to be precise, who struggled to understand her emotions. Anna was quiet and subdued when she came to me at the age of 13. I found Anna needed her own space to come to terms with her own feelings of what was happening. She had zero confidence, could not travel on public transport. She was transferred by ourselves to and from school and any leisure activities she wished to attend, which made Anna feel that she was part of a family.
Avril's son Luca is another one who knows how lucky he got in comparison to some of the children who have been placed temporarily and moved on. He agreed to chat to me and appear on camera. How has having a stable placement helped you?
It's helped due to the fact, since we're having that stability, it means we're not being bounced all over the place. I think if we get bounced all over the place, then it creates instability. But then because of the stability, it's helped me get past what problems would have been there from a very young age, and then move on with my life and go on to do what I want to do, while having that same support, while others might not have that stability due to being moved around by the system.
And have you seen that impact that it's had on other kids getting moved around?
Yes, I've seen the impact of what's happened after they've been moved around. Seen it from them being brought here, or I've also seen what happens if they're not moved sooner to a better household.
Following these conversations, I decided to contact the Department of Health, who told me about the impact trauma can have on the children in care. They stated, unfortunately, evidence indicates that while some care experienced children and young people can go on to enjoy success and have positive outcomes, as a group, educational and other outcomes tend to fall below those of their peers. Care experienced children and young people are likely to have experienced significant trauma and adversity in childhood, which led to them being brought into care. We also know that the experience of coming into care can in itself be traumatic, with children feeling increased levels of uncertainty, insecurity and loss. In addition, placement moves and changes in caregiving arrangements for children in care can add to these feelings of insecurity and uncertainty. We all know children in care often get referred to as a statistic or topic of conversation, with 804 children per every 10,000 in Northern Ireland being referred to children's social services. But as heard by those in this documentary, each of these children is someone who wants the basics of a loving home, stability and supportive relationships, yet often leave with the feeling they've been given the opposite. With rising numbers of children enter foster care, there's questions raised as to if services will be able to cope with the demands, with people believing there's a shortage of foster carers and early intervention. However, more importantly, there are concerns that hundreds of more already vulnerable children are going to be let down by the system meant to protect them, feeling their voices are unheard and struggling to transition into adulthood. Yet there is still hope for a brighter future if services, carers and potential carers all work together, learning from care experienced children's own experiences to build on a better system. Also taking these few examples of how stability in a home can allow children to go on to achieve great things. In 2021 to 2022, Bernardo's alone supported 7,136 children in care and 1,898 care leavers, placing around 800 children with foster families across the UK.